Bitcoin breakout or bull trap? That's the question on every trader's mind right now, I'm sure. Certainly is on mine. Hey guys, it's Keith Allen. Hope everybody had a fantastic weekend. I certainly did. Hope you did too. And gosh, great to wake up to some nice positive Bitcoin price action. The question is it going to hold, right? Is it sustainable? That's the question we've all got here. So what we're going to do today, as we always do, is today we're going to go a little bit broader. We will, of course, look at the order book and order flow data in FireCharts. We'll look at the technicals. We'll look at the fundamentals. We'll try and draw a big picture, take a big picture look and try and come to some conclusions over whether this is indeed a sustainable move, or if we're just looking at a bull trap, another short squeeze situation, or what. And to do that, we're going to try and look at all these different elements and pull together a solid view of what's happening, what has transpired, and what it's going to take to validate or invalidate this move right here. So before we do that, just as always, a bit of housekeeping. First of all, thank you for joining me here. I appreciate you taking some time. And I invite you to join me. Live chat is open. So if you got a comment or a question you want to share or some insight you want to share, we always appreciate that. Also appreciate when you like and share the stream. Also be sure to especially subscribe, hit that little bell up above so you don't miss any of the live streams as I crank these out pretty much every day, but random times. So you don't want to miss them. Make sure you hit that subscribe button. With that, let's go ahead and climb in the exciting moves here. Always nice to look at FireCharts and see some good colors and some upward trajectory here on the CVD. So I'll give you a glimpse of that and we'll go from there. Here, as you can see, we've had quite a bit of activity this morning here. I woke up to it, and it just has continued to progress so far. You notice this one big, massive brown mega whale move here. That was an $8 million market order that helped clear this buy wall here at this 65K level. And then it replenished, actually down here, right? It replenished, came back, and then everybody came through and helped eat it again. So now we're sitting above 66K, and we have a new buy wall in place. It's holding things up for the moment. We'll see if that lasts here. So before we get ahead of ourselves here with all the order book data, I want to, like I said, we're going to take this broad look at things. So let's start with some of the fundamentals, okay? And for that, we'll head over to the candle chart. And the first thing that is readily apparent for everybody is that we have this macro trend still very much intact, right? Hasn't been threatened here in quite some time. Last time we touched it was down around the 25K, 26K level. Oh, excuse me. Yeah, here we go, right at 25K. And we consolidated a bit, and then boom, it was off to the races. Will we get another dip down to that level? That's a burning question, right? So far, and certainly today, when you look at this big green candle that we're sprouting right now, the celery stick currently at 5%, it seems less and less likely. But I would just caution you that until we break this range, until we get back to new all-time high territory, and especially, I think the marker would be getting above the 2021 top. And going after this higher high here, then we are always in jeopardy of falling back. And so now I want to drill into that a little bit from the technical analysis perspective. And I talked about this last night. I shared something on Twitter after the weekly close that we did indeed get a weekly green close just barely above the 21-week moving average. And, it's been 18 consecutive weeks, including this week, that we have failed to print full candle bodies above that 21-week moving average. Now, when I posted it at the time, we were above that 21-week average. However, we dipped below it just slightly and briefly before pumping back up. And obviously, we're seeing that pump deliver right now above 66K, which is absolutely awesome. So in my mind, if take that for what it's worth, right? In my mind, if price is able to hold above this 2021 mid-cycle top, then we can consolidate up here maybe briefly and go after this 2021 top at 69K. We've talked about this a lot of, whether or not that's really an important level or not. And I could just tell you that or I'll show you rather, better than telling you, I'll show you all of the time that has been spent trying to hold above that level. Even on the days that we printed all-time highs, we only had one candle with a full candle body above that level before things broke down. And so when I see these wicks below, that to me indicates a sign of weakness. So until we print full candle bodies above those levels, there's always a chance that we're coming back down below, and that's no different here. So you can see dozens and dozens of times. I'll clear out the trend precognition signals here. You did notice that we do have them. Before I do that, you notice that we do have new signal here on the weekly candle. So that's a positive for this week. Whether or not that's already played out or not remains to be seen. These signals don't necessarily mean that we're going to an all-time high. It just means that we're not going below that prior candle's low, or at least that's the indication if that signal is indeed validated. This is a tentative signal, so it's not completely validated yet. Now, back to the daily. As you can see, we've had dozens and dozens of rejections from that 2021 top at 69K. And yes, we do have a higher high here at just about 72K that's got to get taken out before we can go after the all-time high again. So I think that is something that likely is going to be very telling here for us, right? So the past couple of days, the 200-day moving average, the 21-day and the 21-week moving average have really been where all the drama seems to be happening. And this 2021 mid-cycle top, which, as you can see, is just shy of 65K, where we spent some time here this morning. Looking at this on FireCharts, you can see that we have spent quite a bit of time below this resistance here. Let's go back and see. Got to refresh that. We spent a lot of time below that resistance, so it didn't come easy. And it would be nice to see if we could hold up here. But what I want to see is more support coming into this, above 65K at this point, because it looks like this here at 66 may not hold. I don't know why it just logged me out. Let's try and get back in. I'll do that offline here. Before I do that, though, I'll go back to the chart here, and we can see that on the weekly time frame. All right, now here's the 21 week, right? 18 consecutive weeks that we've not been able to hold above, a full candle above. Now maybe this one is different. Maybe this one does, hold above here, even though we had that little wick below. Maybe it's recovered. Maybe that was just a little fake out for the algos. Who knows? On the daily, you can see how many times we've dealt with this 200-day moving average. All these very close, right? So that's why I'm looking at the weekly, because zooming out, we can kind of mute some of or normalize, I guess, some of the volatility. And I see support here at the 50-week moving average. You can see we've tested it once, twice, three times, almost four times. Maybe that's close enough to the pin for some people, but it's certainly not ruled out. Nor is this double bottom here, right? We made this double bottom on the what was that, about 54K level, and on this big wick that we had down to 49K, I marked this as a double bottom because this is really where things closed up on the day. So this is what I'm marking as a double bottom. Look, even maybe a triple or quadruple, and we could go there again. So back to technicals. One of the things that we talked about is making higher highs and higher lows, right? Or one of the things that's always in focus anyways. I don't know if we talked about it yet this morning, but as you can see, we've had a series of lower highs and lower lows since we made that all-time high back in March. And now we're on the really for the first time in a position to be creating higher lows and higher highs. Okay. So if this dip down to for the mid 49K range is currently our lowest low in this sequence, we did get our first higher low, and now we see a higher high. Now, this isn't a major higher high where we're taking out, these levels up here, but you got to start somewhere, right? Is this the beginning of it? Is this the beginning of the way out? That's the question here. And to know for sure, it's whether we hold above these key levels or not, right? And if you lose one, then chances are you're going to retest the next one. And so all the drama, in my opinion, is right here between the 2021 mid-cycle top, the 200-day moving average, and the 21-day moving average. And of course, if we go to the weekly, the 21-week moving average is right up here in this level as well. It is hovering right at about 62, looks like 62.6 right now. Excuse me, 62.8 something right now. And we got to hold above that. If we lose it, then I think there's a very good chance we go back and test support here at the 50-day, 50-week rather moving average. Something else I skipped over here on the fundamentals was ETFs. ETF flows continue to do well. On Friday, we closed out the week with another 253 million. Interestingly, though, BlackRock was not in that class of buyers, and they bought more than anybody. So keeping in mind, though, that this demand continues and is expected to continue over time. Take that for what it's worth. I view that as fundamentally positive for Bitcoin price action. Maybe not fundamentally positive for the asset as a whole, but fundamentally positive for Bitcoin price action as long as those guys continue to buy. And back to the charts. Another question that everybody, another piece of the puzzle, I should say, is liquidations. And we get a refresh on this because we've just wiped out some more of the leverage or over leveraged traders who obviously shorts just got squeezed. Shorts got squeezed in a big way up to 66K. So now that this is cleared out, what remains? Well, we've got obviously things stacking here. A nice big cluster here above 61.5 and another one here at around 64K. So to me, if this game of liquidation ping pong is going to continue, and gosh, it has been the game for months and months, for much of the year, as a matter of fact, then that shows me that we're likely to go back, or there's a good chance that we're going to go back and at least grab these late longs and potentially go back for these. Now, these guys have a chance to close their trades in which they're no longer exposed. So we'll be watching to see if that happens. In the meantime, we have both longs and shorts getting lured in as price action continues to hover in territory that we haven't been at in quite some time, 66K. So give me just 1 minute to, let's do this. Let's stop sharing and I can go back and log in here. Not sure why I got logged out, but I'll log back in and take another look at FireCharts and see if we have any changes going on, get any insight between what's happened here in the last few minutes, because this order book is fluid for sure, and things are changing really rapidly here. To be honest with you, I'm not surprised by the activity we've seen on the whale side, not one bit. To be honest with you, in fact, I could tell you that frequently, what happens with these brown mega whales is they buy into big sell walls to help break through, and that's exactly what we saw happen here at the 65K level. and we saw it happen. We saw it happen right here. That was actually, and I'll show you here on the absolute CVD. That was actually an $8 million market order. So notice at the bottom of the data tag here that brown mega whales, that's that $1 million to $10 million order class, had only about 1 million in net volume, for a net positive volume over the course of the past 7 days. And then boom, went up to 9 million. Okay, so that was an $8 million market order all in one shot. And then they did just another 1.5 million, a little bit more than 1 million just recently to get up a little bit higher into the 66K level. We'll go back to the normalized view so we can see where the real action is happening and look at what purple whales are doing now. Purple whales are the ones that I really follow most closely because historically they have had the most influence over price action, at least for Bitcoin. And you can see they're selling at the top. Now, they did this a little while ago, and that was, and I'm not going to lie, that was a little bit of a fake out for me. When we hit 65K and I saw those purple whales starting to sell, I also de-risked a little bit. I'm not, and I'm okay with doing that because I will recycle that money into another trade. But had I held it, I would have done a little bit better on what I de-risked. I didn't take out that much, so it's not that big, not a big deal at all. But what I'm looking at here is more profit taking from these purple whales. And if you look at history, you can see that these guys, largely have been accumulating for the past year, at least since Christmas time, and so almost a year. But they do sell rips and buy dips, right? So it's not like it's one entity in here; it's many entities in here making up this order class. And among those that are accumulating, there's also traders in here that are selling the tops, selling the local tops, buying the local bottoms, and that cycle continues. That's called trading. And so, as you can see here, and this is where my concern is in terms of what I'm seeing in the order book, we don't have a lot of liquidity below price right now. We're eating into this liquidity up above, and there's quite a bit stacked here at this range. But we're not seeing enough move up into place. At least we hadn't in a bit to see this hold. So let's go to the shorter time frame and see if, gosh, my internet today is just horrible. And see if we have any more liquidity moving into place to hold this up, because my concern is, we had a little bit here briefly, and it got eaten, it got taken out. So there is a little bit that has replenished coming into place, and I'll push the contrast on the volume percentiles to help you see it. But there's really not a lot holding things up, which means it's a very easy slide back down to these levels. That's what you need to be concerned about. So before you ape in, just be mindful of the fact that we don't yet have a lot of strength here on the bid side holding things up. Now, if you're in the game for the long haul and you're investing and you're accumulating, and you're not worried about the volatility that's happening intra-week or intra-month for that matter, then you're probably in good shape. If you're swing trading this, you can see that now, earlier we had seen some ask liquidity moving up, and now we see it starting to step back down and push price down here a little bit. So I do expect to see a little bit of a pullback here. We've had a nice run here this morning, and you can see that the purple whales are selling. But the question is, how far are we going to slide here? Are we going to see bid liquidity come back in above this 64K level? Are we going to see it come in above? And this is where I think it's most important. Is it going to come in above and hold things up above this 21-week moving average, which I'll get specific with you. It's and it obviously it's a moving average. It changes all the time, and is likely to be different on different exchanges. But here on Bitstamp, it's at roughly 62,600. So that's where I want to see bids stacking above that 62.6 level to give me some confidence that things are going to hold. We do have a little bit down at 62K. but that's less than 5 million bucks, and there's just very, very little to hold it up above that. So we need to see this replenish. We need to see more bid liquidity coming into this range above 62.6 to keep price elevated, and that's the game that we're watching today. Hope that gives you some insight into what's going on, guys. I appreciate the support as always. If you have questions or comments, by all means, leave them. I look forward to reading them and engage with each and every one of them. Hope that gives you some insight as to at least what I'm looking at. And in terms of, the invalidation or the validation, for me, it is right at that 21-week moving average. If we can stay above this, then we're likely in good shape to keep pushing. Obviously, it would be better if we could stay above that 2021 mid-cycle top, but I think that this 21-week moving average is really even more important from a technical perspective than this 2021 mid-cycle top. But obviously, staying above this would be even more bullish and give us a chance at going after this 2021 top. And then we can start grinding our way out. Whether this takes hours, days, weeks, or months is anybody's game, anybody's guess, I should say. So keep watching these technical levels, and that's going to give you some clues as to where price is likely to go in the near term. Going to wrap it right there, guys. Hope you guys have a fantastic week, and as always, trade safe, my friends.